Hello, everybody. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Hi, Melanie. First one here. Welcome. So good to see you. How are you feeling? I hope you're feeling better. You had a kind of a rough week there. You know, Margie is not going to be here today. She's usually the first one in. So you get the honors of being the first one in. Margie's not here today. Hope everybody is doing well. I see we've got a few people here, but they're not in chat yet. I know when you watch on your TV, it's hard to chat. I do get that. I know when you're crafting along, it's hard to chat. I do get that. So hope you'll pop in and say hello so we know you're here. And even if you're going to then play along so that we know you're here to begin with, and then you can go on to making the project and not having to chat the whole time. But it is nice to say hello. We do like to say hello to everybody who's here. So good to see you, Melanie. How are you feeling? Hopefully you're feeling better. So we have a prize pack today. For those who are familiar, we give away a prize pack every time we go live. And the prize pack is full of things. It's full of things that we make at Monday Jumpstart. It's full of supplies. It's full of things from estate sales that I have acquired and not yet brought to a live sale. All kinds of stuff in there. So the prize pack is given away to someone who supports the channel with a super chat. So a super chat during today's live will get you in the drawing at the end of the live for the prize pack. We'll give that away live so that you can see who wins. And then the winner only needs to pay for shipping. The prize pack is free. The shipping is $11.20 for the flat rate envelope. Hey, Carrie, good to see you. I didn't expect to see you today. Representing admin, I see. We've lost everybody else. So let's get right into it. Today is a really fun project. I am really excited about this. I'm going to leave that there so that's not distracting. This is a super cute belly band, and I'm trying today standing up, and the camera is kind of right in front of my face. So we're going to see how well this works. And if it doesn't work, I'll just put my desk down and sit down. But super cute belly band. Look at that. And you could just attach it to your page. Attach it to your page like that, top and bottom, and then you'd slide something in the belly band there. But it's not just a belly band. It holds a tag. It holds a second tag. And each of the tags holds 2 tags. Is that not cute? Talk about lots of tags, lots of writing space. Both are identical, so they each hold 2 tags. And then the belly band opens up for some hidden journaling space. So if the back side of your paper that you're choosing to use is clear enough, there is hidden journaling space. Open that up, close that up, tie it back up, slide these in. One in there. Whoops. Got them caught underneath each other. One in there. And one in there. Isn't that cute? So it's super easy to make. It is super, super easy. I saw a gatefold like that on something, and it just gave me an idea. And it actually uses an 8.5 by 11. However, I told you to get a 12 by 12 because we're going to cut it down to 8.5 by 11, and we use the remainder. The portion that we cut off, that's what we make these tags with. So this is literally a one-piece wonder, a one-sheet wonder. So hang on, let me make sure my light is up here so I can see chat. Hi, Jill. Welcome. Oh, so good to see you. Yeah, it is cute. It is super fun, and it is super easy to do. So if you haven't gathered supplies yet, you don't need a whole lot. So really easy. All you need is 1 sheet of paper that is printed on both sides. I already cut this one, so let's pretend. This is a 12 by 12. You need 1 12 by 12 piece of paper. We're going to cut it down, so super easy. You're going to need a scoreboard and a paper trimmer. I'm just using my mini paper trimmer, which is just fine. And you need 36 inches of coordinating ribbon. So piece of paper and coordinating ribbon. And you can grab the ribbon afterwards if you have to. We can make everything. And then if you have to go dig for ribbon, you can put that on afterwards. This is regular ribbon. This is Sari Silk that I'll do this one. So you'll see that we can use everything. Now, I know, oh, Carrie's got us started. Thank you, Carrie, for the first super chat. Let me start the list. We do have a prize pack today for super chat. We will give it away at the end. Yeah, give Carrie some competition. Some competition. She's the first one and the only one in super chat. And Margie isn't here, Jill. I do have some special things set aside for Jill. That's funny. I have some special things set aside for Glennis that I thought nobody but Glennis would want. So I don't see Glennis yet. So Jill, today would be a good day to get in if Carrie's the only one here. I know Margie's not going to be here, and I know Sylvia had something, but I didn't know if she'd be done in time. So, okay. So I know some of you hate measurements. So I'm going to make this twice. The first time I'm going to make it, I'm going to give you exact measurements. So if you do like measurements and you want to cut and score it at specific measurements, I'm going to give you those. And then I'm going to make it again. I've got a second sheet over here all ready to go. I'm going to make it again, and I'm going to show you how to make it without having to do all the measurements. So I'd say play along for both of them. If you have two pieces of paper, play along for both of them. It's always good to get a feel for the measurements and then figure out how to do it without the measurements. So it is super easy. So, all right. So if you have a 12 by 12, we're going to cut it down to 8.5 by 11. So you want to orient it so that, like, this is obviously upright. And so, and can't even think what it's called. The words go this way. So I want to put it this way in front of me. So as I'm using it, I'm going to want it this way in front of me. So I'm going to cut the top off so that I get 8.5 and I get 11 wide. So set your paper however it is oriented. And if there's no orientation, that's perfectly fine. But set it in front of you like that. And then cut the top off. Let's see, 8.5. That'd be 3.5 inches. So you're going to cut 3.5 inches off the top and set that aside. We're going to use that for those tags. And then you're going to cut 1 inch off the side because it's a 12, if it's a 12 by 12 paper. And so now we have 8.5 by 11. Okay. So you're going to want a pencil because we're going to mark a couple places with pencil, and then that pencil erases really easily. So starting with the scoreboard, and who's playing along today? Carrie, I figure you probably can't. You're with the grands. Melanie, are you making it along with me? Jill, are you going to make it along? I will make sure that I don't fly and, leave you in the dust if I know that you're making it along with me. It's always nice to be able to complete the project when you complete the project and not get lost. Melanie, you are? Okay, great. Jill, how about you? Are you probably went to dig out paper? Gonna make it along with us. Hi, Patty. Patty, grab a piece of 12 by 12 paper. Make this along with us. It's super easy and super fun. Super cute. Our belly band. Okay, so we've got the 12 by 12 cut down. We cut 3.5 inches off the top. So it is now 8.5. We cut an inch off the side. It is now 11. So 8.5 by 11. We're going to put it on our scoreboard. And we are going to mark where the center is. And the center of 11 is 5.5. So 5.5. This is just put a little pencil mark. We're going to need this later. So I've got a little pencil mark at 5.5. And pencil because it'll erase and it's not going to affect our end product at all. All right. So now we're going to score this all the way along for our folding. If you remember, take the tags out. This folds multiple times. So we're going to score each one of these. And then after we do this, I'm going to do it again. And I'm going to show you how to do it without scoring. So I would encourage you to do it, without measuring. And I'd encourage you to do it both ways. I'd encourage you to do it with your scoreboard and get familiar with scoring at those marks. Yay, Jill is in. Yay, Patty is in. Let me get you on the list. Thank you, Jill, for your support. Thank you, Patty. Appreciate you both. Carrie, yay, you got some competition. Carrie finally just got her box from the sale, and she had 4 prize packs in there in addition to the ones that she gave away. But, you know, it's like the lottery. You can't win if you don't play, and Carrie plays every time, and that's why she wins. It's not that she has any better luck than anybody else. She just plays every time. So, okay. So we marked it at 5.5. That is our center point. We are going to start scoring from the left, and we are going to score at 1 3/8. So you got 1 inch. You know where a half is. You've got 3 tiny marks between 1 and a half. It's the tiny mark just before 1 1/2. So 1 3/8. We're going to score. I'm just going to do it once. It'll fold just fine. And then we're going to go to 2 3/4. If you want to write these down, I will repeat them. So we're going to score at 1 3/8, and then 2 3/4, and then 4 1/8. 4 1/8. Remember, after I do this, I'm going to show you how to make it without having to measure at all. We scored at 1 3/8, 2 3/4, and 4 1/8. Now we got to score the other side. We're going to 6 3/4, 6 3/4. Okay, so 6 3/4, and then 8 1/8, 8 1/8. So 6 3/4, then 8 1/8, and then 9 5/8. That is 1 mark past a half. 9 5/8. Sorry, I might have bumped the camera there as I was trying to get in and see it, get on top of it. 9 5/8. So if you're writing them down, I will repeat those one more time so that you can write them down. And if you already wrote them down, go ahead and score them. 1 3/8, 2 3/4, 4 1/8. That gives our left side of folds. Then we jump over here and we score 6 3/4, 8 1/8, and then 9 5/8. Okay, and that is all the scores that we need. We can set the scoreboard aside because that is all the scores we need for the entire thing. All right, then we're going to start folding. So our outside one is folded in. So our outside 2 are going to fold in. So we'll start right here and fold this one in. This is actually pretty thick cardstock. I think my other one is not quite so thick. I should have sprayed it with a little bit of water so that it doesn't crack. But I'm going to give it a really good burnish because this one was kind of thick too. And I had to burnish it several times to get it to lay down. It kept popping up so much because it's pretty thick. Okay, so I'm going to fold that out. Or excuse me, fold that one in. Now I'm going to fold the next one out. I'm just folding it back. So first one in, second one back, just like you were doing a fan, just like when you're a kid. And the next one in. There's the next one. There it is. Okay. So I've got in, out, and in, just back and forth. You get the first one in, just do them back and forth. I'm going to burnish those down. It shouldn't matter which side you're working from because they're equivalent measurements. But the ones I gave you was from the left side. 1 3/8, 2 3/4, 4 1/8, and then jumped over to 6 3/4, 8 1/8, and 9 5/8. Okay, so which side you fold in first doesn't make any difference. We're going to do the same thing on the left side. Fold the first flap in, and fold it back. And then the last one in. Okay, I'm going to burnish this down. This is really thick, and some of this stuff is glossy on top of it. That makes it even thicker. Okay, so this is what you should have. Fold it in, back, and in again. You should have this. Okay, so now we're going to open it all the way. We still need those folds, but we needed to have those folds first. It's easier to fold them while they're whole. But now we're going to make our cut. So now put it on your mat or grab a ruler. And where's my mark? There's my mark of the center. Okay, I want to know where center is. And I want to make it straight here because I want to mark on the side. I'm going to go 2.5 inches. So let me get it on a mark. Okay, I'm lined up. You could do this with a ruler. You could just put a ruler right here. Put it on inches side. And I'm going to go 2.5 inches and put a little mark. 1, 2.5, and I'm going to put a mark right there. And I'm going to come over to the other side. And I'm going to do the same thing from the bottom. From the bottom, I'm going to go 2.5 inches and put a mark there. And these are important that you're accurate because this is the point where these two meet, and you probably want them to be the same. But if they're not, if you cut it wonky, it is correctable. We can fix that. So I have done that. Okay, so now I'm going to cut. You could use your ruler and a blade, or you could use your paper trimmer. I prefer my paper trimmer, but that is completely up to you. I'm going to find that mark on the top. That's my center. I want to cut from the center to my mark right here that is 2.5 inches up. So I'm going to put it in here. And there's my center mark. I've got that. And now I find my 2.5 over here. And I'm going to line my 2.5 up. And if I've got both of those lined up, then I can slice. Okay, so I went from center to 2.5 inches from the bottom on the right-hand side. Same thing on the left. I'm going to go from center to 2.5 inches. This one I'm going to turn around this way. And where's my 2.5 mark? It's right there. Let's see. Okay, it's right there. And then my center is already a point, so that's easy. I can put it right on there. Flatten this out. Make sure it's nice and flat. And then I can, there we go. So I should have these two offcuts right there. Okay, so now if I turn it back and you're good with the paper trimmer with that, you can put that aside. And we're going to use the two corners, and we're going to use that 3.5 inch piece that we cut off. Okay, so now we can fold it again. It's easier to fold when you have full pages because you can get it straight. But now that that's cut off, we'll just fold it back in again. So in, back, and in. And I overlap a little. So I could adjust it just a little bit, fold that out a bit. I'm really not going to worry about it because it still works exactly the same, even if I overlap just a little bit. Okay, so now we're going to put our ribbon on. So if you got 36 inches of ribbon, as I had said, then you'll need to cut off 12 inches of it. So I'm going to go down here. We need to cut off 12 inches and save that. Okay, so save 12 inches. This is for our tags. So what is left here is for closing this, and you might not need that long. You can trim it up if you want, or do it right at the beginning. But we're going to just glue that along the back, and it's going to be able to come to the front and tie right here. So I'm going to tie it just as general idea and see if maybe it's way too long. I can move it down and cut another hunk off when I'm done. Or maybe I want tails coming out. Okay, so I have about that much left, and that's okay because it's on an end. I can just cut that off once I get the whole thing glued down. Okay, so where it is good. So I'm going to open it and know that right there is good to glue it. So, okay. All right, so I'm going to turn it over. I'm keeping my finger kind of right where I want to set it. I'm going to get my glue. And it doesn't matter exactly where you glue it as long as it is below the point, this in the bottom 2.5 inches. So all I'm going to do is put a little line of glue across here. It's a really fine line. The sari silk is a little thick, wide, not thick, it's wide. It's very thin. It is a little wider though, so I'm going to just give it a little bit more width there. And then I'll turn that over and I'm going to set it, make sure I'm setting it on the glue right there. I'll just grab that and make sure that I've got it on the glue strip. Okay. And then this whole thing will be glued down to my journal page. I'll glue it down at the bottom and at the top so that I can slide something under it, which is why it's a belly band. Okay, so you can see that because it's heavy cardstock, it just wants to pop up, which is fine. That's why we're tying it. So I'm just going to clip it long enough for me to get it tied. Do like a little bit hanging down anyway. This is a little more than I need. So I'll do that. Okay, there we go. And so this piece I can use for the tags as well. Okay, so now you've got, hi Sylvia, welcome, welcome. I'm glad you took a break and thank you. Thank you for your contribution and your support of the channel. We have a better chance today because Carrie isn't here. Carrie's here for just a few minutes. She won't be here for very long though. Okay, so this is that part, the base part is complete and our tie, our closure is on. Okay, so now we need our tags that slide in here and that slide in here. Our tags that hold our tags. So each tag has 2 tags inside of it. We've got this, and we've got this. So here's how we do it. We first start with a corner. We'll use the 2 corners first. And then the 2 corners make the 2 base tags. Now, if you like asymmetry, there's a really cool way to do this. And if you don't, you like it symmetrical, then you can do that as well. I did it symmetrical because I thought that's what most people would want there. Okay, so we're going to take a corner here. Take the corner. One side is longer than the other, right? If you were to measure it, one side is 6 inches and the other side is 5.5 inches. So we're going to take the short side, the 5.5 inch side, and we're going to glue this little end flap. It's already folded. We're going to glue that only on the bottom because that becomes this pocket right here. So I'm only going to glue across the bottom of that teeny tiny flap. Okay. So you're going to glue that teeny tiny flap down. You could do the other one at the same time. Doesn't take much. All right, so we've got the teeny tiny flap glued down. Hi, Sarah. Good to see you. Hey, Edna. Thank you. Thank you for popping in. It's good to see you. I hope you're feeling well. Okay, so we've got that tiny flap glued down. And now we're going to fold the entire thing in half. Okay, so this is the little tiny flap, and now we have another pocket here. So we're going to take this. You've got 2 folds here. We're going to ignore those folds. They become irrelevant. We're going to take this whole piece here and just fold it in half, which is kind of right between those 2 folds that you've already got. Don't worry, they don't even matter. So just bend it over and put the 2 corners together and create a new fold right there, just like that. Burnish that down. Okay, so we've got this one go the opposite direction. I did these one with the one side of the paper and one with the other side of the paper, so they're both actually facing the same direction. They could go, you could do them, I did both of these the same, so it's going to be exactly opposite of this. We've got the tiny corner flap here, then we've got this pocket here. Okay, so we folded it in half. Now we've got this pocket, so we need to glue just the side and the bottom. Just the side and the bottom side. Okay, so you should have like this. You should have a big pointy on top. Just glue the side and the bottom. So now we've got this pocket right here, and we've got our tiny pocket right there. So I'm going to grab the second one, and I'm going to do the same. I could have folded this one the opposite direction and had the opposite side showing. I didn't. It doesn't matter. But wherever you folded the little flap, either side, doesn't matter. Wherever you folded the little flap, that's going to be outside. So I'm just going to fold this in half, put corner to corner, corner to corner, and make a new fold there. Burnish that down. Okay, and then I'm going to glue down just the side and the bottom of this one. There's the side and the bottom, just to make that a pocket. I'm going to put the top back on the glue. All right, so glued side and bottom. Yeah, my paper cracked a little bit because it's really thick. Okay, so I've got side and bottom glued. So now I have a pocket here. I've got side and bottom glued, still attaching, but I've got the pocket here. Got the little pocket on the outside. The wee pocket, as Sylvia would say. Rushed home to be on time, but tardy to the best, very okay. Yes, it's super cute, and it's actually super easy. So I did this. I gave you the score marks with measurements. As soon as I finish this one, I'm going to make another one, and I'm going to show you how to do it without having to measure. Okay, the only thing you have to measure is your halfway of the paper. So those of you who don't like to measure are going to love that. Okay, so now we've got 2 pieces that have this big point on top, and we want to bring this into a tag like this. So you can do a couple of things. Find about the midpoint here, and you can fold it. The way that you would do that is by taking the point and folding it over so it's exactly straight. You can, I'm usually a little wonky, so if I line it up here, I can see that if I fold it right there, it goes straight all the way across. Okay. If I folded that, don't worry about this hanging out here. So it's folded straight, and now I have a straight tag. Pockets, tag with pockets. And all I'm going to do, I'm not going to cut the whole flap off because that's good reinforcement. I'm just going to come over here and cut the excess that's hanging over, which is just that sliver and this little tiny tag that you can't even see, that little tippy end. Okay. And then I'm going to glue this down. Now you could just glue that side and slide something up here. If you wanted to slide a tag or a note or something, you could. I'm going to just glue the whole flap down. Okay, just like that. Now you could put an eyelet, you could put a hole and put a ribbon through there. I'm going to staple them today, and I'll show you an alternative to that even. But let's take the second one, and let's say that you like it asymmetrical and you want to do it asymmetrical. Then you could take this and you could fold it. Let's see, how did that go? Oh, it was so cool the first time I did it. Oh, fold so the point, so you don't have to, so that you don't have to cut anything off. Take the point and line the point up on that side, and you would fold it like that. So your point lines up here. You have no excess to cut off, and now you have an asymmetrical tag. So that actually lines up with this. My paper kind of does the same thing, which is kind of weird, but your top asymmetrical because your top is not equal. You've got a long side here, a short side there, but it is in line with that, so it looks kind of cool. It's kind of very artsy. So if you like an asymmetrical tag, then absolutely do that. And you still put your ribbon up on top, and it's just a little bit, it's just asymmetrical. That's all it is. If you don't like an asymmetrical tag, then we're going to fold this down just like we did the first one to where the top is. Basically, all you're doing is taking this long side of the flap and you're folding it where that goes straight across. If I go any other place, that is at an angle. But if I put that straight across, then it gives me the symmetry of the top of the tag. And then I'll just cut off that little overhang right there. And then I'm going to glue this down. See how easy this is? Using the same pieces, not having to get out any other piece of paper, the entire belly band. I love all the hidden journaling space inside here too. That is tied up so it's not visible. And then when you get all these tags in, it covers it up even more. Okay, so now you've got this tag, and now you've got this tag. Let's make the two tags that go inside of them, and then we'll do the ribbon. So we have a longer tag in the top, and we have a shorter tag in the bottom. And those are the same on both of these. So we're just going to do two of each. So this is where we'll take the offcut piece of paper. I said we were done with our paper trimmer. You could use scissors, but I'll use my paper trimmer for this. I'm going to go to just to the end. Either end doesn't make any difference. And I'm going to cut off 1 3/4, just a 1 3/4 strip. I'm going to do 4 of those. 4 of those, 1 for each of the tags. 2 tags inside each of the pocket tags. 1 3/4. There's 3. And I'm not going to worry about this hole up on the top because it's going to get cut off. Okay, set this piece aside. I actually have this left. This would make a really nice journal card actually, or turn it into more tags or a pocket or something in the journal that would coordinate with the belly band, and you still have this to use as well. So now I've got 4 strips. Each one is 1 3/4 wide. 2 of these, and the length is 4 inches. Mine is 4 inches because mine had the branding strip on it. I did not cut it off because it was not perforated, just left it. If you did, that's fine. If you didn't, that doesn't matter either, because if you don't have a branding strip, then yours should be 3.5 inches, which is perfectly fine. And if you do have the branding strip on it, we're going to cut that down. I'm going to cut it down to 3. And so 3 3/4. Let me just double check myself. I think it's 3 3/4. 3.5 if you don't have a branding strip, that's totally fine. So I'm going to cut 2 of these to 3 3/4. I don't think there's a quarter. Nope. So I'm going to do this one, 3 3/4. All right. So now I've got 2 at 3 3/4. And I've got 2 more, and these I'm going to do at 3 inches. So I'm just going to cut off that hole, that branding strip. If you wanted to leave the hole and use it for a tag for your ribbon, you could. I'm going to cut that off and staple the ribbon on. Okay, now we are done with the trimmer completely. Okay, so I've got the 2 small ones. I've got the 2 longer ones, and I've got the 2 bases that they go in. Let me get rid of all the little pieces to the side here. And we'll keep the 2 big ones. There we go. Okay. Thank you, Edna, for your support. Thank you. Thank you. We do have a prize pack today sitting right here. I showed it at the beginning, and we will do the wheel of names as soon as we're done with the demonstration, and we will give that away. So let's see, Melanie, Jill, who's doing this? How are you coming? Patty, are you doing it? Are you caught up? Did I leave you in the dust? I hope I didn't talk too fast. At the same time, if people aren't doing it, they don't like me piddling around. They want me to get to it. So never know what to do. So how's it coming along? Okay, so we've got our 2 little houses that are our tag bases. Tags with pockets is what they are. Then we've got the 2 long ones and the 2 short ones. So now all you do is corner these however you want. If you want to round them, I'm going to give them an angle. I'm in really basic. I'm going to give the 2 the angle. I'll make that the front. And an angle on this one. You can do the angles however you like to do angles or corners, round, whatever. I'm going to do the same on these, just real simple. And these, because they have this script on them, they could be written on as little journal tags too. So I love writing over the writing. Okay. And I think on these 2, I will do that as the front, and I'll do the front as this. Okay, so now we're going to take that 12 inches that we cut off here, and I had actually a little bit left over. You may have as well. But this 12 inches, we've got 3 tags that we want to put ribbon on the top, and we've got 12 inches. That is 2 inches a piece. So you could essentially just take this, and if I cut it in half, I've got 6, and then I'm going to cut this in thirds. Did I do that at 12 inches? Because that seems a little short. I might not even have made it long enough. Well, I'm going to start with my leftover piece here and go from there. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just bring it. It's sari silk, so it's pretty wide. I'm going to try to leave it kind of scrunched together. Skinnier pieces, the better on this. If you're using regular ribbon, it's a whole lot easier because it's the right width. Just fold it. Just stick one up just a little bit. Fold it. And then we're going to staple that on here. Now, if you have trouble getting the stapler in because your finger's in the way, I have that trouble a lot. Getting the stapler on my ribbon without getting my fingers in the way. Then the workaround for that, which is super easy, is to take your ribbon, form it like that, and staple it right here. Staple it out here. There we go. And I can trim that up. And then you take that and you glue it on here. And it looks like it's stapled on. I'll put a fair amount of glue because I've got a lot of sari silk there. Okay, so you can staple it right on, or you can staple the ribbon and then glue it on, and it looks like it's stapled on. All right, so there is one for that one. Move my little bitties out of the way. And let me do the next one. So we're just going to do the same thing on each one. Just give it a little tiny, we just want a little tiny topper. We don't want a great big long, I say you can make it as long as you want to, but these are tiny tags and there's a bunch of them. And so I just want a little, just a little topper. My biggest problem is sometimes I get it in there and I get half of the ribbon in it and half of it not, especially when it's big fat sari silk like that. So that's why sometimes it's easier to do it outside, staple it, and then just glue it on. I can whip up a bunch of them when you do it that way. There we go. We'll cut that one. Cut them however you want. Angle, no angle. Half of them slant in, half of them slant out. Doesn't make any difference to me. All right, so then our long tag goes into the, I got too much glue on the side there. Goes down in that pocket, and then our short one goes in the front pocket. And let's do the next one. Okay. Let's see here. Yeah, the sari is really awkward to use because it is actually quite wide. It's just folded. Most of you have some, so you know what I'm talking about. So it was a whole lot easier using the regular ribbon. So given a choice, you know, choose what you want. If you put a hole in here and put the ribbon through the hole, the sari works just fine. Okay, there's our first one. And I'm just going to cut this in half because it's going to give me just enough to do both of these. They don't need to be very long. And I won't even have to trim them much. Just cut a little bit of an angle. Perfect. Yeah, it's about 2 inches for each tag, just because they're minis. I know you probably want it longer when you're doing larger tags. These are little tinies. Is that the same length? It is. Okay, and let's see. I can fold this one. It's getting so tiny. Hard to fold. It's just the right size, but there's just not as much to hold on to because it's already the right size. Okay. There we go. All right, so we're going to put our long tag in that pocket and this tag in this pocket. There we go. Let's bring our gatefold belly band back. We'll slip one in the top. We'll slip one in the front. I got a little overlapped there. There we go. And there you have it. So glue this down. We just put a glue on the bottom, glue on the top, right onto your page. It's 8.5 by 11. I'm sorry, it's 8.5. So if you use 8.5 by 11 for your pages, you can glue it at the top, glue it at the bottom, and it is just right to slide something in behind the belly band there. What do you think? Is that easy? Super easy? Melanie doing it. Jill just watching. Okay, I'm going to show you how to do it without having to measure for your score marks. So if you didn't do it the first time and you want to do it this time, while I'm tying this up, grab you a piece of paper, 8.5 by 11 or a 12-inch, cut it down to 8.5 by 11, and you can do it along with me really quickly because super easy with just folding it. You still have a second to do that while I'm putting this one back together. I mean, you can see once you get that figured out, look how cute it is with all the little ribbons up there, how quickly you could whip out a bunch of those. This one is not going down as far. I must have got glue down there. So I'm just going to trim it off a little bit just because I want it to sit a little farther down so that my ribbons show in a little ladder like. So doesn't matter how tall, how long the tag is. There we go. Okay, so there we go. All right, so anybody want to see or want to try it along with me, how to do it without having to measure all the score marks? Okay, 8.5 by 11. Let me see, which one I want at the outside. Oh, I don't know. Let's put the dark on the outside or dark on the inside. I like the dark on the inside. Okay, so 8.5 by 11. Orient it how you. This is like this. So this is going to be the inside. Once I fold it, this is going to be the outside right there. Okay. So if you don't care about a line right or a fold right down the middle, which in the end isn't going to matter, you could just fold it in half to find your halfway mark. I don't want that fold, and so I am going to line it up and make a pencil mark. This is the only thing that you have to measure because you do need that center mark. So 11, I'm going to go 5.5 inches. 5.5 is my center point. Making that pretty dark because that's, you can see that one I didn't cut off, just erase it, no big deal. Okay, so center point, that's all we need to measure here. All right, so now I'm also going to measure that center point on the bottom because I'm going to use that to fold. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5, and that should line up perfectly with that one. Because I don't want to measure all my score marks. I just want to fold it. No problem, Edna. I just want to fold it. So I want that. I want a mark that I can see. Yep, I can see it. Okay, top and bottom. Because I'm going to use that to fold too. Okay, so I am going to fold. It doesn't matter which side you start on. I'm going to start on the right. I've got my mark here, and I've got my mark here on the bottom. I'm going to fold the right side into that mark. So I'm folding the outside, the right side into the center. I'm going to put it right on my center mark. I just want it to be a straight fold. I'm looking for that mark. Pretty busy pattern. So there it is. Okay, and I'm going to fold my outside edge right to my center mark. This paper is not quite as thick. If you have a choice, grab a paper that's not quite as thick. It'll be easier for you to do this, especially while you're learning it. Okay, and then we're going to do it the same with the left side. We're going to fold that one right into center. So that's easy because now I've got one there already I can line it up with. And burnish that down. Okay. All right, so we folded the two edges in to the center. Now I'm going to come back and I'm going to fold the edge in again to my fold mark. Okay, I've got one fold mark, so I'm going to fold my edge in just to that fold mark. That I'm probably going to have to pick up to look at it because my pattern, it makes it harder for me to see. Maybe if I put that fold mark right on a line, I can do it by my grid here. Okay, so I'm going to fold the end into that fold mark. So you didn't have to measure anything. Okay, so there's our first fold. And now I'm just going to flip it back. I've already got the fold there, so I'm just going to fold it back where it was folded forward. And then I'm going to bring it back around and I'm going to fold it forward. I don't need to measure it because I'm just going to fold it in alignment with this one. So I'm bringing this, and that is essentially folded to the center again. So if I bring it back to the center, and now I've got all 3 folds underneath me here, all I'm doing is burnishing that last fold. And look at that. You got all 3 folds. Front, back, front. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. For me, it's easier to flip it around. Both sides are identical. And I'll turn it back around just because of the orientation of the paper. But it's easier for me to work right-handed. And if you're left-handed, this is a good one because you can do the exact same thing on the left side and use your left hand. A lot of things I know are oriented for one or the other. Okay, so I'm going to take my outside edge and fold it to the fold mark. And I like this because you don't have to remember how far in do you have to fold it. You just fold it to the previous fold mark. Okay, and then I'm going to fold it back on the fold mark. And then I'm going to fold it in again, right to center. Super easy. And burnish that. Okay, did you get that, Melanie? Did that work? Okay, so we should have your fold in and then back and then in again. There we go. So now we're going to open it up like we did before. I want to make sure my orientation is right, which for me, I think is this direction. And my center mark is still there. I'm going to make sure it's straight on my grid or grab a ruler and mark down here. We're going to mark 2.5 inches. So I need to get it on a grid. 1, 2, 1. 1, 2.5 is right here. I have to make that dark because I got a dark pattern. I'm going to go over to the other side. Make sure that that is on the corner of a grid. Or grab your ruler. 1, 2.5. And mark that one. Okay, so these two should line up. They're both right there. Okay. And now I'm going to cut from my center point to my 2.5 inch mark down here. I'll grab the paper trimmer. Put my center point. Where is it? There it is. Center point locked in to my 2.5 inch mark right here. Make sure that my paper is flat. And there's my one corner. Okay, now my 2.5 inch mark. I went slightly above it on that one. So I'll go slightly above it on that one. And my center point there. Make sure my paper is laid out flat. Okay, so I've got my 2 corners. Be my 2 tags. Missing a fold. Okay. Terrible at measuring. Yeah, it's easy when you can just remember the folds. So just center point. And if you're writing it down, right, mark your center at 5.5 inches. And you're going to fold it in half to get to the center. And then you're going to open it. And Melanie, you're going to fold. You're going to keep that half mark here and then fold it again in, but to meet that half mark. So we first folded it to meet center. And now we open that and we fold it to meet that fold that you just did, that half mark. Okay, you got that? And then it's already folded here, but we just need to fold that backwards because that's where we folded it to half. So once we put this down, then just fold that one back. And now we'll fold it one more time to meet center again. There you go. Did that make sense? I know it's hard when you're watching and doing, you look up, you look down. I know that's hard to do. Edna got it. Awesome. Okay. So this is what you should have. And if you have something that has a good contrast, the front and back, it makes it a little bit easier. This one's pretty good because it makes it easier to see that you folded it right and that it's in alignment. Okay, so that is all good there. And then we're going to put the ribbon on, and I want to leave enough. I want to leave enough to do my tags, and all I need is about 2 inches. Let me measure that just to see if that, yeah, I tend to do about probably 2 1/4, maybe. So we've got 6 tags, the big tag and the 2 inside each one. So that's 6 tags. So 12 inches. Let's see here, 12 inches. And I'm going to add just a little bit more to that. And that leaves me 24 inches, which is plenty. In fact, let me measure how much I ended up using on this. Probably not even that much because I cut some of it off in the end. So, no, I used about 23 inches. Okay, so then I'm going to take 23 inches of that 36. You could just put it on tight and then just cut it off afterwards, but I'm just going to take about 23 inches right there, and I'm going to cut that. And then this short one, which probably ends up being about 14. Yep, right about 14. That's going to be for my tags. And this one is for my closure. So if you have a right and a wrong side, you can check that. Mine doesn't. I'll find the center. Center is where I'm going to put, let's see. I will mark center by setting my tweezers right there. So I'm just going to put some glue across the back. And all you want to do is make sure the glue is somewhere between this 2 1/2 inches on the bottom. Doesn't really matter whether you like it high or low. As long as it's within that 2 1/2 inches, it won't restrict your tags from going in. We're not going to do as much paper this year because we've got a lot of mixed media things we want to do. A lot of mediums and media that we want to try, art journaling and all that stuff. So I thought this would be a good day to throw in some cool paper craft to add to our journals. Next week, we are doing oil pastels. So if you, like me, have oil pastels and have never used them, I hate to say I have 7 sets of oil pastels. One of them I purchased. All the others I've acquired from estate sales. But I literally have 7 sets of oil pastels. And they are just sitting. I have never used them. I don't know how. I don't know, much about them. I've started watching videos and learning, researching, reading about them. Okay, so that's on. Let's tie this up. And, like everything else, and I'm sure like a lot of you, all the art that I do is self-taught. And you know what, that's a weird term to me because self-taught, it's really not. It's self-researched. But other people are teaching me through their videos and through their articles and all the things that I'm reading and watching and learning. So other people are teaching me. I'm not coming up with, out of the blue. So that's why self-taught seems weird to me because I am being taught by others. It's just not a formal class. It's not art school. It's just, real world and YouTube and all the people that do this and do it well, and they have websites and videos and all kinds of things. So it's self-researched, I will say that. All the art things that I do are self-researched. And I am always willing to experiment and learn and try something new and figure it out. And that's why I love our theme this year, the Year of Curious Play, because we just want to get curious about all the things. This stuff is sitting here, not using it. It's not doing any good there, and I'm not having any fun with it. So let's have some fun. Let's just get curious about what will it do? How will it react? What if we do this? What if we do that? And that is one thing about not having an education that tells you you should do this and you should do that. We should feel freer to just get curious and play with it and see what happens. Because we shouldn't have any restrictions. And that's what we're going to do with oil pastels. I actually have a project that I found that looks super, super fun. I have no idea how it's going to turn out, but I'm going to try it. And if you would like to try it along with me, Carrie will be here, and she is also going to try the project along with me. That kind of thing, I think it's fun when you can see more than one person's take on it and how they do it. So I will put out the event, and I'll put in the description box the exact things that you're going to need. I know you'll need some masking tape that you can see through, and your oil pastels, and probably a pencil, and some paper towels. You'll need paper towels. And I think that's it, literally. So if you want to play along next week and explore oil pastels with us, that will be a lot of fun. Okay, so I can take in these two, and I'm going to do one with this as the front and one with this as the front. So remember, I'll take the little tiny flap. I'm going to glue the little tiny flap down first. And that is the front. So whichever way you glue it down, that becomes your front right there. So the other one, I'm going to do the opposite. So the opposite color is in front, just for variety. Okay. And then we've got two folds there, but we're going to ignore those, and we are going to fold it exactly in half. So take the corner of the bottom and fold it to the other corner of the bottom. So you're just folding the whole piece in half. It doesn't matter that it's wonky up here. Just go by the bottom. The bottom's about probably 5.5 inches long, I think we said. But now you folded that over. It's probably about 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, about 4 inches. Just fold it in half at 2 inches. Once you get it all glued down, those other folds just disappear. Okay, and so now I'm going to glue the side and the bottom to form our second pocket. Okay, there we go. We create traditions. I love that. As women, we create life. That is our natural gift. We were all artists till someone told us we're not an artist, right? Yeah, creative curiosity leading down the path of your choice. I love that. I love all pastels. Oh, awesome. I know just enough to know blending. Other than that, I'll do what I want. There you go. Melanie, you can probably teach us a thing or two. So if you've played with them before, then this will probably be a project that will be a ton of fun for you. Okay, I'm going to fold the other one in half based on the bottom. Now, you could leave it just like this. If you like that asymmetry, you could leave it just like that and stick it in and let this stick out. You don't even need to put a ribbon on it if you don't want to. It is just a pocket holder. That's all it is. You can turn it into a tag-like thing or not. Doesn't matter. That's actually kind of cool. Like that. I kind of like that. You could just do that. And same with that one. There you go. And they both go up the same side because I flipped one of them and made the inside different. Now, if you want to turn it into a tag or you want to make it, asymmetrical, just fold this down so it lines up with the side. And you got the asymmetry there. If you want it to be symmetrical, I'm going to make it symmetrical because I will likely put these in prize packs, and not knowing somebody's taste, I will make it mainstream symmetrical. But you can make it any which way you want. Once I fold that down, I've got that little bit of overhang there. I'll just cut that right off. And then I'm going to glue this piece down. I love this paper. I think I was saving this paper to be end paper in a book. And then I used it anyway. Just real pretty end paper. Same thing with this one. Going to lay it down and fold. All I'm doing is folding it to where this becomes straight. Once this is straight, then I know my top is symmetrical. There we go. Cut off that tiny bit of overhang. Glue that down. And there we go. Okay, and so for our tags, we'll take our 3.5-inch piece that we cut off, and we're going to cut 4 pieces that are 1 3/4. 1, 2, 3, and they don't even have to be exact. We just need them not bigger than that so that they'll fit inside those little tags. 4. I have a nice little chunk left. Okay, let's put this away. I'm going to give them an angle. See if they have a direction. And now they're small pieces, that direction may change. And if I do some, if I want this one to be on that side, this one to be on this side, I like that. Top one to be on that side, and that top one to be on this side. Okay, so I'm just putting the opposite side against whatever is there. So you don't have to be that specific. It wasn't on the others. But I'm just going to clip the corners so I know which I've designated as the top. Got the little angles. They really come together pretty quickly. And you could even batch make them with different pieces of paper, doing one step at a time. Okay, so the 2 small ones we need to cut off at 3 inches. And the 2 long ones can be 3 3/4 inches. That is only 3.5, so that's shorter than. Perfect. Okay, so now we can do our little bit of, actually, let's see, we've got, I need 6 ribbons here. Let me get those straight. Okay, 6 ribbons, so I'm just going to take this and cut it in half. That is half for each one. And then each one of these needs to go into thirds. Quick and easy way to put your ribbon pieces and know that you've got enough. The winner, Carrie's here. Carrie's already thrown the good juju everybody else's way. She says one of you is going to win. Okay, I'm going to put that on there. Give it a little staple. I'm going to do all of them, and then I'll just clip all of them. And again, if you can't get the stapler in there, if the stapler is, whoops, am I out of staples? If the stapler is just too big, then staple them outside and in the air, just staple just the ribbon and then just glue the ribbon on. And it looks like the staple is, I think I might be out of staples. Okay, that's all right. I will do those later. I got to go refill the staples. So, but you could just staple this out here and then just glue it down. So this one goes in here. This one goes in here. And I'll put those ribbons on. And I'll just put the tags where they belong. And that ribbon, okay. I'll slide one in here. We'll slide one in here. And there we go. See how quick and easy that is? And you don't even have to measure if you don't want to measure. Do love that. I know a lot of people hate the measures on the scoreboards and all of that. So I first did it without measuring, and then I thought I better figure out what those measurements are. That's what took me forever, is trying to figure out the measurements for those who do like to measure. Okay, so that's our project. With measuring, and you did it. Yay! Without measuring, and you did it. Sylvia, you did it. That's so awesome. Yes. If you have, please, those of you who did it or are going to do it, please post it in the group. Absolutely. I just love seeing everybody else's project. I know everybody else does too. It's inspiring to see everybody's projects. All right. I am going to get to the wheel of names here and type in the names. Carrie, if you can help me look just to make sure that I've got everybody. I've got Carrie, Jill, Patty, Sylvia, and Edna. Carrie, Jill, Patty, Sylvia, and Edna. And I'm going to get those in multiple times. Okay. Copy. All right, here we go. It's always nice to have your name in multiple times. 2, 3, 4. All right, everybody's in 4 times. Let me come back over here and share my screen. Did I get everybody? Carrie, did I get everybody in? I think that was everybody. Hopefully didn't miss anybody. Let me share my screen. See, Sylvia, you did it on scratch paper, and because you did, you weren't worried about it. You just did it, and it worked out perfectly, right? But now you have a template, so you won't forget. So that's awesome. I did the same thing. The first one I did it just on scratch paper in case I had to fold, refold, figure it out. And the thing about, that's the whole thing about the practice journals, is you don't have the pressure of perfection of trying to do something just right. And so you just don't worry about it and you do it and it turns out perfectly. So same thing. I love that. Anything that takes the pressure off of us. Okay, here we go. Click and spin. Here we go. All right, I'm going to watch on YouTube so that I will not yell it out before it gets to you. Here's our prize pack today. Congratulations, Edna. Edna wins. Awesome. Awesome sauce. Edna, the prize pack is yours today. If you will PayPal $11.20, which is the shipping for the flat rate envelope, I will get that out to you this week. Awesome. Hopefully you're still here, Edna. If not, I'll shoot you a message. But yay, I'm so excited. I don't know if that's Edna's first time winning. It might be. That's awesome. Oh, I love my scraps paper page. Yes. Congratulations. Let me get a drink. My throat's getting really dry. Okay, so watch probably tomorrow. There will be a new video out in the new series of creating collage, different techniques to creating collage paper. The second one, I believe, is set to come out tomorrow. Winner, it's not Carrie. So watch for that, and then get your oil pastels out. I'll get the event created and put in the description box exactly what you'll need, but I think what the things that I told you is all that you'll need for that. That's going to be a lot of fun playing with oil pastels. And until I see you again, and even when I see you again, please stay curious. Stay curious and be sure to post in the group your creations so that everybody can be inspired by the things that you do. And please, once we leave here, if you found some value in today's process, you know, the item that we made, give us a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Leave a comment. Thanks, Sylvia. Comment. Yes, the comments are what shows YouTube that there is interaction. And that's what gets YouTube to put our video out in front of other people who are like-minded. And that's where we've met most of you, is that a video popping up. And so that you could come check us out and join us. And we love meeting new friends that like to play with the same things we do. So thanks so much, everybody. We'll see you in the group. Stay curious and have a great week.